I believe, here we are, what is it, roughly 60 days before the New Hampshire primary. I think that presidential candidates have a responsibility to answer very specific questions about what they do in Iraq, so that you and voters across this state know what their choices are. I mean, it's fair. I think it's a fair question. You ought to be asking every candidate this. I think there are about 3 or 4 questions every candidate should be made to answer. No more vague promises about ending the war. I mean, everybody says, oh, I'm going to end the war. Well, that's great. What exactly are you going to do? What are you prepared to do as president? And these are the questions that I think should be asked and answered by everybody. First, will you have all combat troops out of Iraq in the first year of your administration? That's question number 1. The answer to that question for me is yes. I will have all combat troops out of Iraq. Are you going to continue combat missions in Iraq over the longer term? The answer to that for me is no, because continuing combat missions is continuing the war. And if we're going to bring this war to an end, we have to get combat troops out and we have to stop combat missions in Iraq. And I will do that. But the third question is, will you keep permanent military bases in Iraq? The answer to that question for me is no. I will not. No combat troops, no combat missions, no permanent military bases. And I want every voter in New Hampshire to know that is what I will do as president. Now, I think those questions, plus the basic question, is do you have a specific plan? Do you have a specific proposal about what you're going to do? Which is probably what the first question should be asked to every single candidate. Now, I know for a fact that some candidates, because I've been on the stage with them, some candidates have answers to those questions, some do not. I was on the stage with Senator Clinton and heard her, in response to what she would do in Iraq, say that she would continue to keep combat troops in Iraq. She would continue some form of combat missions in Iraq. And I don't know if she'd asked this question, but I assume there has to be a place for those troops to be stationed. So I assume there would be bases in Iraq. To me, that's not ending the war. Ending the war is getting our combat troops out and ending combat missions. And I think this war needs to be brought to an end. So there are absolutely clear choices for voters in New Hampshire on this question. And if you believe there's nothing wrong with it, if you believe what Senator Clinton believes, then you can support her. But if you believe that we need to bring this war to an end by getting all combat troops out and ending combat missions in Iraq, that's what I will do as President of the United States.